Where I first started doing commentary on magic. Yeah, we're gonna continue that. Anyway, hello everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever it is that you're going through. We are back here with another Magic the Gathering video. And today's topic, I gotten off of a famous Magic the Gathering player, who I forget, but I will show him right here. There you go, folks. He had a question, which was, what were 5 cards you would unban? Now, granted, I'm very sure I probably missed a format here, but I thought to myself, me as a Commander player, hey, I already know 5 cards. Now, I would like to state this. We are actually going to do 6 cards because I have 2 groups. But group 1 is something you're going to have to piece together because it'll be both a surprise but yet something obvious if you can piece why I said 2 groups. Anyway, let's go ahead and go on with the freaking show here, shall we? Almost forgot to mention, if you disagree on something with me, please leave it in the comments. And if you have any opinions, please share those too. I'm always actually happy to read and hear what you guys have to say. I like to also state, by the way, all these cards can be exiled, countered, discarded, and even destroyed. Anyway, moving on. First card up is Jeweled Lotus, and I would just like to state, this card literally says, from your commander. This is a commander-based card, and apparently this card was banned for being a bit too much of a strategical advantage come turn 4 or 5 for some people, even though this is the card to literally only cast your commander. Forgive me, I'm clearing my throat. Drink some soda. Not a good idea. Anyway, moving on from this point, though, it's literally used for just casting commanders. I don't see this as an advantage or even a strategical one. It is literally a 1 in 99% chance of getting this card, and if you're curious as to why I say that, I just don't include the commander because you're not really drawing your commander. Aside from such, though, this card helps with casting said commander. It does not do anything so powerful. The fact that they said that this could help with a random-ass advantage, let alone a strategical one, I can't help but question who in their right mind said so. As much as I do respect the old people that did freaking do the rules check and whatnot for Wizards of the Coast commander format, I gotta say, dumb pick. Literally dumb pick. I'm sorry, but it's not that freaking much of an advantage. Not to also mention, anybody who had this was either rich or had a proxy of it, because obviously it helped with their deck. But again, this card, not that powerful. Not that powerful at all. Maybe powerful and competitive, but guess what? It's competitive. There's a reason why there's a difference between competitive and casual, you filthy feckin' wankers. Up next, we have Mana Crypt, and I'm not gonna say much about it. I mean, it's a colorless land that gives you 2 mana, and it deals 3 damage to you, depending how a coin flip is. This is basically a free Soul Ring with a negative effect. And the fact that they banned this because apparently a land with 2 mana is considered to be a bit too much makes me kind of question it with all the other lands that may have other things, such as, I don't know, like a tribal theme, an artifact theme, or let alone the fact that we could, I don't know, bring back something. Point being, this seems somewhat hypocritical to say that it is this strong compared to other more strong-esque like lands, as I will say. Of course, I will simply say, unless your commander is colorless, I can see why this would technically be overpowering. This card in itself is still at least seen being played in 8 formats, most of the popular ones being Standard, Modern, Brawl, and you know what, we'll even throw Pioneer for example of the 8 that still play it. This land really isn't much, and I dare say, if it was unbanned, I basically would shrug, but for it being bannable, I can't really say much of my 2 cents other than just whoever said that this was overpowering, I think needs to understand that this card isn't really played as often. But I also would like to say Mana Crypt itself was expensive as hell, and it still is expensive as hell, and the fact that it's banned in Commander I think is just stupid. It's not really that powering, and I know I'm just being a broken record here, but I mean, come on, look at it. What screams this is overpowering? This thing hurts you. And sure, for a life gain deck, that may not be much, but seriously, what is overpowering? Unban it. Our third one here will be Hull Breacher. And before you start typing, I know I said I would read these gosh dang comments. Just hold up. Hull Breacher in itself is not that powerful. It literally states in its own text, other than the first card drawn at the beginning of players' upkeeps, you will create a treasure token for each card drawn afterwards. Now, granted, that doesn't say word for word verbatim, but that's basically close enough to simply state, hey, second card through everything else, you can create that many treasure tokens. And granted, if you're playing against a card draw deck of an opponent, then yes, you basically hit the lottery and might as well play whatever from your hand, depending if you have ways to draw cards yourself. But on the other hand here, how many players have you seen still stick with card drawing and abuse that said thing? For myself, I have seen more people take the fact of library search than card draw, and many other players do the same exact. I've even seen pro players actually go for freaking gosh dang library search than card draw. Granted, I haven't played any pro players, so take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But I will simply still state, people would rather rig the game to make sure that it is in their favor than take chances with Lady Luck, Fate, and also whatever chance may bring them. I'll admit, yeah, sure, that is part of the game, but at the same time, Hull Breacher in its own self is just not that powerful. 70% of the time, its ability won't even trigger nor work depending on what players play and what their deck consists of. And only 30% of the time it will, just in case there is that chance that somebody does have a card or an ability that says, draw a card. It's still something that is, to let alone say, not that powerful as it seems to be. Sure, in old Magic, yes, everybody would abuse card draw like it was their freaking gosh dang booze. But they went to Alcoholics Anonymous later and realized library searching seems to be a bit more fun. And then they had a gambling addiction, and now we're here. Alright, card number 4, we have Flash. In all honesty, it was this or Yawgmoth's bargain, in this instant one. Now, I'm just gonna say, other than being cheated with maybe copy abilities of instants in a blue or is it deck, this really isn't that much on the power scale. This thing basically will make you play a creature from your hand, put it onto the battlefield, and then they either make you pay the cost or it dies. And to be honest, sure, it may reduce the cost by 2, but when are you ever going to really think to yourself, this card is the most overpowering thing I've ever played with? Now, granted, take it with a grain of salt. I get it. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I don't see it. But I have to literally admit it. Flash is literally not that gosh dang powerful. I can't see it. I can't really see much of players even abusing this card. This thing is a one and done go in case if you ever feel like playing a creature that you know you don't have enough mana for, but you have 2 mana less than what you can play it for. And then next second, oh, Flash. But moving on from that joke, that's already been played before. I am just saying that maybe in Storm decks, this thing could work on a 2-spell stack. This card helps literally 1 turn, and then it just lays in your graveyard till you have a spell recursion or anything else. And 99% of the time, you're going to find a different spell that you're going to use because you used this card once, and it was not that important to you to deem worthy. Because sure, it may be a rare, sure, it may be overpowering, but on the other hand, you used it once to play probably a Kraken or maybe your gosh dang dragon that's in mono blue for some weird reason, and then you decide to go on with your life. Again, this card in itself may seem a bit powerful in a cheating way, but you're gonna use it once and only once. Card number 5 here, we have ourselves Ancestral Recall, and I'm going to admit I just kind of basically ran out for card number 5 because a good handful of the other cards, other than what my first group was quite overpowering in its own sense. I mean, I couldn't bring myself to do Primordial because that was just way too much. I couldn't bring myself to even see like Biorhythm because feck that card and feck you if you say that it should be unbanned, or let alone even gosh dang Black Lotus because, well, really, why would I unban that card? Anyway, no Black Lotus hate, by the way, just it is powerful. Moving on. I'm just gonna say this. Maybe paired with Hull Breacher, this may be a bit too powerful. For copy decks, this may be a bit too powerful. I don't know. I'm going to admit, I'm a green player. My brain don't work too good. But I know for a certain fact, I just can't help but kind of see Ancestral Recall being a bit not too much on the power scale. It's either you draw 3 cards or make someone draw 3 cards, and that alone in its own self can be just a shrug on the shoulders. Like I said before, maybe for a copy deck, yes, that would be a bit too much, but then again, who even knows if they're going to play it? This card, literally, I kid you not, at the time of recording this episode, the cheapest cost of them all is $600 out of the 4 prints that they got. I found one on TCG that was nearly going for $10,000. Unless you're Post Malone, no random middle class everyday freaking player is going to buy this unless they are willing to risk losing their house and whatever loan that they decide to freaking put on this damn thing. I'm not saying, of course, this is a terrible card. It's just, it's not that powerful as it seems to be. But yet also, minus our abundance of draw card spells in mono blue, this card is just not as overpowering as people do claim it to be, and I will never understand as to why until I play somebody with a copy deck to do some random BS combo stuff. Then yes, I will understand that, but until then, most likely I'm going to see somebody, if this was ever reprinted to be in a more cheapened state, somebody play this card and then either make me or whoever else, or give themselves the ability to draw 3 cards. Whoever says this is overpowering is correct 50% of the time and is incorrect 50% of the time. What does that mean? Take that in your own words. All right, my first group in the 6th card. If none of you could piece it together, I am talking about the Mox Gems. Mox Ruby, Mox Sapphire, Mox Pearl, Mox Emerald, and Mox Jet. These are 0-cost artifacts that tap for only one specific color, considering what their color coordination are. Ruby being red, Sapphire blue, Pearl white, Emerald green, Jet black. I know I didn't need to state that, but it's what I do, even if it states it on the card. Now, moving on. Now, yes, it's a quick mana rock, or a land, as some would possibly say, to play and pay for other things, whether it be creatures, instants, sorceries, enchantments, or ironically other artifacts. But other than artifact synergy, if there is a domain artifact synergy deck, this ain't that freaking powerful. And sure, I know some people would go like, but people are gonna abuse it in their whatever color decks than colorless. Look, yeah, maybe sure. For a binary deck, this would basically give it what it needs to give. But these cards are not that overpowering, let alone if people would actually abuse these said cards. Now, maybe sure, yes, like I said, in a domain artifact tribal deck, that is a possibility to be at hand. And some may say, well, what about my domain deck? Yeah, sure, but let me give you this. Would you, as a domain player, rather have the 5 artifacts missing 5 lands, and these artifacts can easily be countered, destroyed, discarded, or exiled? Or would you rather have 5 lands than the 5 0-cost artifacts that can only be destroyed if somebody plays a destroy land spell, like a dick? Yeah, that's what I basically thought. Besides that, the only other thing I could say is, yes, sure, the other many decks would basically use this. I mean, hell, I know I would be one of them as well. Pardon my French on the hell part. I just can't say much. I mean, heck, who wouldn't want themselves any 0-cost mana rocks? But then again, that also does put another point to my argument, which is not many other people have been using mana rocks recently. Everybody has been ditching Soul Ring for possibly another land, depending how their deck synergy is, or just using specific mana rocks to either give them a plus ability of something, such as no max hand size, or giving their colored synergy deck a +1/+1 counter to each creature of that said color, or anything else of the sort. Not to also mention, they're mostly going for mana rocks that give them a colored of any, basically, any one color. Sorry, my vocabulary today. I'm just saying that, let alone outside of the mana rock increase or decrease, let alone out of people wanting to use 0-cost artifacts for specifically one color, that's not any color, just one, yes, it would be a bit overpowering. But no, it would not at the same time. Also, to anybody kind of going like, what happens if I play a domain deck and I get all 5? Dude, just do 5 divided by 99. You know what, fuck it, just, here's the percentage. That's your percentage of getting all those dang cards in your hand, okay? It's the same as me hoping to get my 5 0-drop cards and 2 freaking lands, being a Plains and a Boros, and a red color in my gosh dang Boros deck that I'm not going to label because I'll be making a video on that in the future for Halloween. Anyway, yes, It's not that overpowering. Unban these gosh dang Mox gems, okay? I want them. I want to play them, because they're not that damn bad. Unban it. Well, other than a debate of format of topic here, I at least hope you all enjoyed this dang video that I did make. I hope I do get to see y'all again. Remember, if you do have an opinion or any disagreement with me, please leave a comment down in our little box below this video, because I love to read whatever you guys have to tell me. And I love to be informed to be better at Magic and to know why of some of these certain things. Like I said, Ancestral Recall, I could see people kind of disowning me about that one. I'm not gonna lie, but the other 5, if we're counting the group of Mox gems to be that, I believe I stated good cases, and hope the best out of anything for this video. But other than that, I hope you all have a great day, night, evening, whatever it is that you're going through. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this type of content, and I hope to catch you smooth skins on the flip side. Have yourself a good one now.